Hi, welcome or welcome back. This is the Newbery Review, and here we talk about books and all bookish content. So, I am thinking about my 2026 reading list. Yes. And the year is not over yet, and I have not finished my challenges for 2025, but it is a conversation to have. So, let's talk about it. So, I have books that I've been thinking about reading this year, and books that are on my list this year that I want to read, but I know there is a chance that I may not get to them. So let's talk about my reading strategy for 2026. So what I did was I start compilating, I start collecting books that I will more likely get to next year instead of this year, which is fine. The goal is to always be in motion. And even though I take breaks sometimes I get off course and do other types of readings like magazines and other stuff. The goal is to read. So I'm going to share with you some of my reading plans for this year and how the books that I choose for 2026 will be incorporated in my challenges. So this year I did a challenge of my most the books that I wanted to get read this year. Now, I'm still doing the challenge and I have done some of the books. However, um, I'm looking at the end of the tunnel and it's looking pretty far. So, what I want to do is I'm going to continue the process of reading the books that I have chosen for this year's challenge, but I am going to end it on the last day of December. And then the books that I do have that I still want to read, I'm going to add those on to my 2026 challenge, either part of my 2026 challenge or a book that I will be reading in 2026 and I will just put it under a special category. So I'm trying to find some of the things because I did write it down, you guys. So bear with me. Okay, so some of the things that I want to do on my reading channel is to continue some of the things that I'm already doing. If you guys hear noise in the back, those are my cats running around. So some of the things that I want to do, I just want to continue what I've been doing this year. I have started a series called I Am America, and in this series, I talk about books on particular subjects that amplifies or showcase who I am as a reader. And so there are various subjects that I hit on. I did one for my Black History Regs. I did one for Women's Month. I did one for Environmental Earth Day. So check that out. It's under I Am America, and there are videos in that series plus others. Another that I want to do was highlight authors. And so what I mean by highlight authors is that I will get maybe three or four, or at minimum, an author has to have two books at minimum for me to highlight their work. So grab a couple of their books, two or three of their books, and highlight the books and talk about the author in detail. Well, not in like detail, but as much details as I can get about that particular author, why I love their book, and so on and so forth. So that will be happening in 2026. Another thing, and so with that, when I'm highlighting the author, those are ways that I can incorporate it into my reading challenge, the books that I'll be reading. Book reviews with spoilers. The reason why I said that is because for me, it's hard to give a book review without spoilers because I do like to get into the text. I do like to get into the characters and the plots. And so I don't want to allude to, I just want to be straightforward. And so if you like book reviews with spoilers, then this is your channel because I'm giving all the spoilers. The next one will be my quarterly book hauls. So I'm sorry, not my quarterly book hauls because I did change that. I have what I call my quarterly big book challenge, and so every year in March, you have a slew of YouTubers. They give you recommendations or mammoth books that they may be reading. So this year, I had challenged myself to read one mammoth quarterly. So that will be 4 books. So far, I've read 2. So next year, I plan to incorporate those mammoth reads inside of my 2026 challenge to make sure that I am hyper focused on those books. Um, so it may change. It may change. Like the books that I want for my mammoth challenge, those may change through the course of the year. So we'll see how that goes. Another thing that I want to incorporate into my 2026 are my themed reads. Now, what I mean by themed reads, and I think, if you're a booktuber, you're probably you're scratching your head and say theme. So we have this thing in a book community where we do like Christmas in July, summer wing, no nonfiction November. There are various themes that I like to join in the bookish community and kind of challenge myself. Although I've never taken the time out to follow along with the chats. I do like to challenge myself. So I will be incorporating the themes like Christmas in July. I like to read at least one book that's, like a Christmas themed in July. So I will be incorporating that also into my 26 or 2026 reads. Long form book reviews. I love giving long form chats. So, and this is a challenge for me, but I think the reason why I have not posted many book reviews is because I do like to do the long form conversations, but I'm going to do those instead of like hitching my wheel to say what, every book has to be a long form book review. I'm going to challenge myself to just do one book once a month and have that book review in long form. Book to movie. Oh my goodness. My book to movie challenges. I have books that have been adapted to films that I would like to read, but I'm going to incorporate at least 1 or 2 to lighten up my load for my 26 or 2026. And you may say, if you're going to incorporate all of this, what would your my reading list look like? I would say chaotic. I have pulled some books that I want to put into my 26 challenge for next year. So that video will be coming soon, but I thought I would share this video to kind of bridge the gap to you understand why where did this this list come from and how did she come up with this list. So there are some things that I would like to do differently on my channel for 2026, and I would like for you to give me your suggestions of some books or some movies that you would like to see me do a movie to a book interview or like comparison, because there are quite a few that I like. I'm going to dig from my stash first, and then if I don't have it, I can probably get the book from the library. But let me give you an example of one book. I do plan on doing a comparison. I don't have it with me right now, but I wanted to do the comparison of Team Arrivals. And Team Arrivals is a book published by, I think her name is Doris Goodwin. Doris Goodwin. But the movie is called Lincoln. The movie is about 3 hours long. The book is about 900 pages long. So here's the thing. That count as 3 things. That count as a mammoth challenge. That count as a book to movie challenge, and it count as my 26 or 2026 challenge. So I can eliminate all 3 of those categories with one book. And that's just an example of how I'm trying to, still cultivate my library list and, enjoy some light reads, and at the same time hit those reading cues, those books that I would like to read, like just, you know, get this active TBR going. So let me know how you're planning on, setting up some reading challenges for next year, or do you have any reading challenges for next year? You know, let's keep the chat going. So I will hope that I will talk to you soon. Bye bye.